national purification to save the heart of a nation. Let burn a talking wood, bringing light to a talking wood. Natural law, just wisdom and love, vision, truth below as above. Let burn a talking wood, let burn a talking wood.
Hi, I'm Cynthia. Thank you so much for joining me for my Natural Law Presentation 8. And as always, I encourage you to visit the website, affirmlifedaily.com. There's tons of resources there, information, affirmations. You can view previous podcasts. There's lots of videos there if you want to learn more about natural law, spirituality, ascension, evolution, all types of things. So I highly recommend you visit the website. Also follow on social media. Your support is needed. So subscribe on YouTube, follow on social media, like and share. Your support makes it possible for me to get this information out to more people. So today we're going to talk about how we are collectively manifesting our reality and must collectively oppose evil. So we're going to dive into the following questions. What is the human collective? What is reality? What is manifesting and how do we manifest collectively? What is evil and how do we recognize it? And most importantly, how do we oppose evil? So these are the topics that I'll be covering in this series. We're on number 8 right now. I'm not going to read through all of these. They are listed on the website, so you can view it there on the natural law page. So what is the human collective and what is reality? So the human collective is just the whole of humanity, all of us together. Humans create collective experiences together as a group. So every human is a part of the human collective consciousness. All, not just humans, are part of the one consciousness or the all. When people refer to the all or the one consciousness or the conscious collective, that's everything, not just the humans. But what we're going to be referring to in this presentation when I say collective is the human collective. So one individual is not able to simply exit the human collective. When you're in this realm, when you're human, you're part of the human collective. So what is reality? Reality is simply what is, and we've talked about this a lot in past presentations, so I'm not going to go into depth about reality. It is just the truth at its essence. What is real, what is true, internally and externally. So reality is that which is real or in existence within the universe. Reality is not subjective and excludes the imaginary, non-existent, or the non-actual. So acceptance of reality is key, absolutely key to healing, to growth, to evolution. Because if you're not accepting what is real within you, what is real in external world to you, what is truth, how can you even begin the process of healing? How can you even begin the process of growth? Because you're not acknowledging where you are or what's going on inside of you or outside of you. So acceptance of reality is key to the entire process of evolution, ascension, healing, and growth. So what is humanity's collective consciousness? This is a great quote by Eckhart Tolle. Each individual is an expression of the collective consciousness of humanity. And the collective consciousness of humanity is an expression of the one universal consciousness, which I just mentioned previously. So the human collective consciousness is an aggregate of each individual's consciousness. So each person has their own, and then the collective is the aggregate of all of that. The world we see around us is literally the world we are creating, the world we are manifesting. We are the source for all that is around us. So we must understand this deep truth so that we can be aware and take responsibility for our thoughts, intentions, and actions. It is the change within that will bring the change without. As above, so below, as within, so without. That is a Hermetic principle, and I've talked about the Hermetic principles a lot. That is the law of correspondence. And the Hermetic principles and the laws of this universe don't change. So you can fight against them all you want, doesn't matter, they don't change. So we need to start to honor them and live in harmony with them. And this is a poem. There's a poetry page on the site too, if you like poetry, if that's a good way for you to take in information, check that page out too on the Affirm Life Daily website. But this is a poem called The Source that directly speaks to this. I searched fiercely as I saw trouble, chaos, darkness, and judgment raging in the world, just to find it was actually raging in me. So what is manifesting? So manifestation is what you bring into reality. So you can manifest consciously or subconsciously. This is why it's so crucial that we operate from a place of conscious awareness so that you are aware of what you are bringing into reality. It's kind of important to be aware of what we're bringing into reality, and so that we're bringing in the things that we actually desire, things that bring us joy, things that bring us happiness, things that bring us peace, things that bring us growth. So if we're not doing that consciously, we can create a hell while we're, humming along thinking we're creating heaven, but we're actually creating hell because we're creating from the subconscious and not really aware of what we're manifesting. So this is another really powerful quote from Bruce Lipton, and I absolutely recommend that you check out his work, his book. All these will be hyperlinks when I post this to the website and to YouTube and everything. So absolutely check out his work. But through consciousness, our minds have the power to change our planet and ourselves. It is time we heed the wisdom of the ancient indigenous people and channel our consciousness and spirit to tend the garden and not destroy it. So that's speaking exactly to what I was saying. If you're not aware and you're not conscious of what you are creating, you can create destruction, chaos, disharmony, suffering, all the things that you're saying on a conscious level. I don't want those things. But if your subconscious is asking for something else or vibrating on that level, guess what you're going to be creating. So how do we manifest? Methods, and these are just some methods of manifestation, ways that we bring about our reality. So what we're focusing our attention on. So focusing our attention on something we want to have or something we want to occur. And this can, again, be subconscious or conscious. Our frequency, where we focus our attention, our thoughts, emotional state, and vibration. Making yourself equal to what you want to manifest. So becoming what you want will help you manifest it. So I have an example here. You want to find a loving partner, the love of your life, to share the rest of your life with. But subconsciously, you believe you don't deserve love. So you're not equal to what you want to manifest. So in that case, you need to be open to the universe bringing you into alignment so that you will be equal with what you want to manifest. So the universe may put you through some struggles. It may put you through some challenges in order to get you in alignment with what you say you want, because it's going to have to do something to get you to do that inner work, to go inward so that you can equal what you want to manifest, so that you can get rid of that subconscious belief that you don't deserve love and replace it with actual self-love. So our ability to manifest consciously can completely change. It's a game changer. It's a for real life game changer to consciously manifest. So our ability to manifest consciously can completely change what we actually receive. Manifesting only from an unconscious state will leave you vulnerable to creating things that will bring suffering, chaos, and harm. And we see this literally all around us because we have so many people that are in an unconscious state pretty much almost all the time. So, and what they want to manifest counts just like everyone else, because like I said, it's a collective. So that's why it is very important that we encourage each other and support each other and educate each other so that we can all become more aware and become more conscious so that we can manifest things that we really desire. So what is collective manifestation? Collective manifestation is the reality we create together. So that's kind of what I've been talking about. Our reality is a direct reflection of what the aggregate is manifesting. So if the bulk of humanity is focused on emitting a vibration of fear, violence, control, destruction, chaos, all those negative things, then that is what we're going to experience in our external collective reality together, because that's what the bulk of humanity is manifesting. That's what they're focused on. That's where their attention is focused. So the intentions of the collective matter. I mean, it matters a lot what our intentions are. So each individual can create their own personal manifestations and has control of their internal reality, but we all still have to deal with the ramifications of the collective's manifestations, as well as a part of our external reality. Because again, we are doing this together. We are a collective. We are a group. So we can't separate ourselves from the group. So that's why it's very important that we do take the time to care for each other and again, educate each other and so forth. Because we are all part of the one consciousness. We are all energy from the same source. Our connection to one another cannot be erased. So we have to embrace that, whether you like it or not, because it's one of the laws that we have to, that are just part of this universe, that are part of this realm. So why fight against what you can't change? Instead, go into harmony with it, understand it deeply, understand it deeply, and act in harmony with it. So what is evil? Evil is that which destroys freedom and sovereignty, that which feeds and feasts off of suffering and fear, a state of seeking destruction, a state of ignorance, focused on desiring annihilation of life and love, a deep state, very deep state of denial of your true eternal spiritual nature, denial of connectedness, denial of self, because you are true, eternal, spiritual, you're divine in nature. And when you deny that, you're denying self. Evil exists in a state of self-perpetuating fear. So evil, also known as ignorance, is like a shadow. It has no real substance of its own. It is simply a lack of light. You cannot cause a shadow to disappear by trying to fight it, stamp on it, by railing against it, or any other form of emotional or physical resistance. In order to cause a shadow to disappear, you must shine light on it. I love that quote. It is just so powerful. You know, you have to shine light on this darkness, and that is the responsibility of all of us collectively. So how do we recognize evil? So if you think evil will only look like a demon or a devil or like the boogeyman or a monster or some shadowy figure, you're going to miss most of the evil around you, and you'll definitely miss the evil that's in you. Evil usually comes with a smile and kind words, hiding behind the guise of niceties and doing good and all the sweet stuff. So this is another good quote. Evil is no faceless stranger living in a distant neighborhood. Evil has a wholesome hometown face with merry eyes and an open smile. Evil walks among us, wearing a mask which looks like all our faces. That was a quote by Dean Koontz. That he summed that up perfectly. And, we have to be willing to oppose evil fully. So, and this, I guess, is a good time of year to bring up this quote, because with the elections coming, people often talk about the lesser of two evils. But this was another quote that I wanted to include, because when you choose the lesser of two evils, always remember that it is still an evil. So recognize evil in all its forms. Don't shy away from it. Recognize it. Look it head on. You don't have to fear it, because it is powerless, because it has no creativity and has no real power. It only has power if we grant it that power, if we engage it, if we allow it. So how do we spot evil? One of the main ways, and this is just something that I just like to live by for everything, it really just helps you gauge whether something is positive or negative or good for you or healthy for you or whatever, by the fruit that it bears. What is it bearing? Is it bearing harmony or disharmony? Is it bearing joy or pain? Is it bearing suffering? Is it bearing cruelty? All those things. That's a one surefire way you can spot evil, by the fruit that it bears. It is always rooted in ignorance. So look for ignorance, you will find evil. How it impacts your heart center. How does it feel? When you experience certain things or certain people, if your heart center is open and active, you will feel it. You will absolutely feel it. And you will notice an absence of joy. when you are in the presence of evil or participating in something evil. How it impacts your God-given rights and freedom. Because like I said, freedom is totally something that evil wants to abolish. It doesn't want you to have freedom. It doesn't want you to have rights. So when you see something that's taking away freedom, stripping you of your rights, it's evil. And it will vibrate on a low frequency of fear. So I put these pictures up here because, like I said in the last slide, evil won't look like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. It's going to much more look like the picture next to it. Someone smiling, telling you niceties, all the things you want to hear. But if you're not looking deeper and not looking at the fruit that's being bared and not looking at, is this taking away my freedoms and my rights? Think about those things when you're judging if something is evil or not. Because evil is always rooted in ignorance. It is imperative that each of us aligns with truth. We have to gain the necessary knowledge about the world around us and the world within us. It is through educating self, becoming highly aware, and embracing our divinity that we gain the ability to quickly recognize evil when it is present. Now I want to talk a little bit about the human shadow. This is another person where I do recommend, she's a channel. I recommend checking out her work. She has some powerful videos, and I think she has some books too. I've not read any of her books, but I've watched several of her videos on YouTube. She has some powerful stuff. I do recommend you check out Teal Swan. But I really liked this quote, and I thought it incorporated nicely into what I'm talking about. So in this era of very fast awakening and shift in collective human consciousness, human shadow cannot hide in a closet anymore. Instead, it is coming out in plain view to be integrated. So this is why it seems like the evil around us is like way more pervasive and invasive than ever before, because there is a massive shift happening, a massive shift. There is lots of people waking up and going very far into the light. But at the same time, because of the dual nature of the realm we are in, you also have it on the other end, going very deep into the darkness. So as people awaken, they are truly seeing for the first time. They're not just seeing with these two eyes, they're seeing with the third eye as well. So the evil has been there all along, but they're more conscious state of awareness allows them to recognize that they can see it. So if you're someone that's just waking up, this can be, like absolutely devastating if because it's like all these things that you believed in that you thought were actually good because you were in a state of sleep. You realize now all of a sudden, wow, these things are not only bad, but a lot of them are actually evil. So, you have a lot of people, seeing this now. And so we have to, again, support each other and be there for each other as people are going through this awakening process. So how do we oppose evil? It all starts in here, as most things do. And this is, of course, not the only things, but I feel like it absolutely has to start here before you can do anything externally that will work and that will stick. So we must integrate our shadow side instead of suppressing or denying it. Again, this is duality. You cannot get rid of duality. So you must integrate your shadow side so that it's not overtaking you, so that you are not out of balance, so that you can transmute and use that alchemy to deal with more negative parts of yourself. So that integration is key, very key. We must overcome our paradigm blindness and programming. And I'll talk more about paradigm blindness in the next slide. We have to seek divine knowledge. We talked a lot about knowledge and the trivium method in the last presentation. It is key that we are seeking divine knowledge, not what the knowledge that you got from, your elementary school or, your college professor. I'm talking about divine knowledge here. So it will take some work. You will have to do a lot of research. You'll have to do a lot of internal work. You'll have to meditate. You'll have to contemplate and use that trivia method that we talked about in the last presentation. And that way you can act in wisdom with the knowledge that you gain. So we must have a revelation of the mind, body, and spirit, and understand our true value, our real value and purpose. So we have to deeply understand that our external world is a reflection of our inner world as a collective, which we talked about earlier. So if you're not understanding that connection, you're never going to understand how powerful of a creator you are. We are powerful, powerful creators. And if we don't understand that, and then you just think like, oh, well, why is everything always all so messed up? Because we are powerful creators. So we need to be mindful of what we are creating as individuals and as a collective. And we must become the light and the love that we wish to see in the world. You can't wish it away. You can't just close your eyes and pretend that it's not there. And none of those things will work. You have to embody, like fully embody what you want to see in this world. You must become it first. You cannot ask it of another if you are not even that. Oh, I want you to be all love and light, but I'm going to be like this over here. I'm going to be just all about myself and selfish and, creating all type of chaos over here. No, it doesn't work like that. You got to become that. You got to become what you want to see. So, this is a quote from Jeremy Locke. The end of all evil is that link will take you directly to a free PDF of this book. It's very short read, but it is so powerful. I highly recommend that you read The End of All Evil by Jeremy Locke. And like I said, that hyperlink will take you right over to that PDF. That same hyperlink is already on my site on the resources page as well. But the quote reads, "The definition of freedom is the infinite value of the human being. Everything that is evil teaches people that they have limited value." And you can see that limited value programming and brainwashing is so heavy. It's so heavy in our current society. They don't want you to know you are powerful. They definitely don't want you to know you are a powerful creator. They want you to feel dependent on them. I'm talking about the controllers for everything. And they want you to feel bad about yourself. Do you notice how everything that's wrong, they want you to take personal blame for it? Even though it might have been, a system that they created, put in place. It's all your fault because you're not valuable. You're not lovable. You're not good enough. They're constantly sending you these messages to keep you in that low, fearful, limited vibration. And what we have to do is see through all of that. See through all of that. That is one of the most powerful ways we can oppose evil is by understanding our real value and taking our power back, taking our sovereignty back, taking our freedom back. So paradigm blindness, which is mentioned in the last slide. What that is the concept of paradigm blindness refers to an unwillingness or inability to accept anything that challenges your core beliefs or one's current worldview. So your paradigm is that's it. That's all you can see. Anything that falls outside of that, you either are just going to ignore, say it's untrue or whatever. That's paradigm blindness, where you just have on those blinders like that. And this term can apply to a person, an individual person, a group, or an organization. Another Jeremy Locke quote that applies directly to this. When an authority is established amongst people, evil is either obvious to see or nearly impossible to see, depending entirely upon whether or not you are part of its culture. Even though few people are able to recognize the oppression found in their own cultures, culture is still oppression. So just think about that. That is very true. How many people, are the biggest cheerleaders for their own country? They don't see like not one little thing wrong that their own country does, or that they're, or say they're in a certain group, say they're police. They won't see, they'll become blind to the things that their organization does, what the police do, or things like that. That's paradigm blindness, where you're not, but then you see another group of people, and that's all, you say you're all, go USA, we're the greatest, we're super moral, we're above everyone else. And you look at another country, but you see tons of evil there, but you can't see any of the evil that's in your own backyard. That is paradigm blindness. That is something that has to absolutely go if we want to get out of the situation that we're in and we want to really oppose evil. So we all have to ask ourselves very seriously and answer very honestly, are you supporting evil? If you think the current control system is evil, but you are still complying with it, You need to start asking yourself some hard questions, like some really hard questions, like ASAP. Because starting with, why am I supporting evil? Compliance with evil is support of evil. Ignoring evil is support of evil. Justification of evil is support of evil. Desire for a paycheck, wanting to fit in, fear of being an outcast, following orders and authority. None of these excuse complicity with evil. We have to get out of that mindset. You don't get a get out of evil free card, like a get out of jail free card with Monopoly. No. You're complicit with it. So at least if you're going to be complicit with it, be honest with yourself. Say, okay, I'm being complicit with evil right now. That's the first step of being honest. You can't change it if you're not being honest. So, it does not transform a right into a wrong when you just are in a state of denial. That doesn't make something that's wrong right. We all have to start being brutally honest with ourselves about who we are and what we stand for, and stand on it. For real, stand on it in real life. It is only from a place of truth can we begin the metamorphosis of healing, change, and evolution through revolution. Like I said, revolution of mind, body, spirit. Those blinders, we got to take them off. Let's get rid of them. They got to go. So time to take the blinders off. If you say you want freedom, if you say you want to do what's right, if you say you hate what the controllers are doing, then you have to accept the full, unabridged version of the truth. You cannot just pick the parts that you like, or the parts that still make your life convenient, or the parts that still allow you to maybe be at work for some evil corporation or something like that. You can't just pick the parts of the truth that you want. You have to accept the whole unabridged version of the truth. And yes, this will mean abandoning societal structures, institutions, and belief systems that they created to reinforce and further perpetuate their programming and control. No more blinders. No more lying to yourself. No more going along to get along. You have to stop this stuff. We have to stop this. No more. It's time to make a way for the new. It's time to start creating the world we want to see. And you absolutely cannot do that with blinders on. You have to take them off. So accepting and overlooking wickedness and evil is not being peaceful, is not being kind, doesn't make you a really good, sweet person. No, it just makes you a part of the problem by accepting and overlooking wickedness and evil. So we must shift from blindness to true sight. Seeing and recognizing truth is at the core of our evolution, growth, and healing. If we are unable to see evil because we got those blinders on, how can we do anything about it? It's impossible. We can't. So denial, suppression, and ignorance, it's a breeding ground. It's an absolute fertile breeding ground for evil. Beyond the two eyes that we see with, we must activate and utilize our third eye as well. That will allow us to see so much more and with a much deeper level of understanding and wisdom. Our opposition to evil must be loud, it must be sharp, and it must be constant. That is how we bring about change. And that is how the light overtakes the darkness. Evil does not simply disappear because you choose to ignore it. To ignore evil is to become an accomplice to it. It's a quote by MLK Jr. How much of the evil, and just answer this honestly to yourself, how much of the evil in this world would disappear if each of us stood up to it? If each of us said, no more of this evil. How much of it would disappear? Probably almost all of it, if we're being honest with ourselves. So that concludes my presentation. I want to end again with an affirmation that kind of speaks to what we talked about. And then after that, I'll take any questions or comments anyone may have on anything that I presented. So letting love lead the way affirmation. I will let love lead the way. And you can say this out loud, or you can just, quietly meditate on it as I speak it, but you're welcome to say it out loud with me too if you'd like. I will let love lead the way. I will fully appreciate all the forms love takes, whether it is through service, friendship, kindness, kinship, true care, or gratitude. I will incorporate love into all aspects of my life. I will no longer make fear-based decisions rooted in past trauma and pain. I will no longer turn a blind eye to evil, ignorance, and suffering. From now on, I will let my heart lead the way. My path forward will be guided by love. And so it is. So, as always, please check out the website. Please follow on social media. Just go to firmlifedaily.com. All the social media links are there. And like I said, there are tons of information on the website as well. So I highly recommend that you check that out. And are there any questions, comments, anything?
Yes. Yes,
Hey,
indeed.
Paul.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, excellent presentation. You know, I'm writing a book on evil.
Thank you. Yes. So hopefully it was aligned with where you're at.
Oh, it's definitely aligned. I define evil a little related and a little differently, like in a related sense, though, not in an opposite sense.
Okay.
And I love that you said, like, if you're not conscious of what you're manifesting, then basically you can invite chaos unintentionally. You can allow evil to be manifested unintentionally if you're not conscious of what you're manifesting. And the way that relates to evil in my book is we are collectively manifesting, as you said, right? We're collectively doing that. So that means that when we manifest like money and adventure, for instance, and use it only for personal pleasure without using it to influence what we as a collective are manifesting, which is the enslavement of the people, then we're manifesting and allowing evil.
Right. Yep.
Because so I define evil as action or inaction that violates the rights of or brings harm to other beings outside of acts of defense.
Yes.
Again, action and inaction that violates the rights of or brings harm to others or other beings outside of acts of defense.
I love that you said both action and inaction, because a lot of times people feel like, well, I didn't do anything. Exactly. You didn't do anything.
Okay.
Exactly. You didn't do anything, because a lot of people feel like inaction is elite. They're just neutral. This is, well, I will get a pass, but no, inaction it's bad too. Just because if you're watching the evil and you're just inactive, you're totally passive. You're not even calling it out.
Mm.
The problem.
You're not even acknowledging it within yourself, probably.
Exactly, and that's complicity with evil.
Yeah, and so inaction is often overlooked and underrated, and ignorance. As you pointed out, ignorance with a capital I, right? Because there's a couple different kinds of ignorance. There's nescience and there's ignorance.
Yes,
right,
yes,
Alan?
Yes. And why don't you explain both of those to the audience?
For sure. So nescience, I don't remember the etymology, but this is a Mark Passio teaching.
Yes.
Nescience is when you are ignorant because the available information was made unavailable to you, meaning there are the environment takes the fault for your ignorance in this area, right? When it's the environment's fault because the information just was not there, or you were completely lied to and nobody told you the truth, and you could not find the truth for yourself if you were interested, then you're nescient. You're ignorant because of environmental factors only. Ignorance, which is just ignorance pronounced differently, ignorance is when, because of lack of interest or fear, you choose ignorance of a particular area. And when it comes to evil, the information is there. Mm-hmm. When it comes to mass enslavement and mass human sacrifice and mass human experimentation against people's will and without consent, the information is there. It's fear and lack of interest because it hasn't affected me and my immediate family, or at least you don't think it does. I mean, y'all are eating McDonald's, but
Right.
Exactly. That's ignorance, and ignorance always brings evil, because inaction, right, not acting, is a crucial aspect of the definition of evil itself. And an ignorant person will often remain inactive in the face of evil.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, I like that you brought that up too, because a lot of people, they don't want to feel that cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable feeling. So they, even when you try to present information that they probably, would totally agree with, they won't even let you get it out because they know where you're headed and they don't want to have to experience anything uncomfortable. They would put their comfort over their well-being. They will put their comfort over their morals. They will put their comfort over their integrity. And that's just a place where if we really want to change things, we have got to get out of that place.
Right. And
you're going to have to go through the uncomfortable stuff, the inconvenient stuff. You're going to have to,
They don't want to, like you said. And there was one more thing that I wanted to bring up in relation to this episode. And then my wife wanted to say something as well.
Okay. Yeah.
The last thing I wanted to say is it's actually from my book. It's from the introduction in my book. Okay. And I put in there, I say, there is not a clear solution embedded in every chapter of this book. For some of the issues raised, the only solution is to spread the truth about these systems while participating in them until enough people are willing to collectively stop. Addressing the ignorance is paramount. Yes. We must reach a critical mass of information a critical mass of informed individuals, ready to take bold, unified action. And since ignorance is the root of the problem, taking action without first gaining proper knowledge will likely be ineffective and can worsen the situation entirely.
Yep.
And that's from my book, because the taking action against evil in a personal capacity is important to do now. But as a collective, we could collectively, excuse my language, fuck it all up.
Yes. Yes.
If we go the wrong way.
It starts here. You got to do the internal work first. You have to get your knowledge up first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to create another. You might stop. You might stop what they're doing right now, but it's just going to be replaced with something possibly even worse, because none of the internal work was done first.
Right. And teach the children the right way so that they can be creative in coming up with the collective solutions, as it's going to take a long time, most likely, I don't know the future, but it's probably, statistically speaking, going to take a long time for the right amount of people to be on board. So teaching the children is the primary target. And then my wife wanted to add something too. We love this episode.
Thank you.
Good day, love. Tensi.
Hey. Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna be real quick.
No, you don't rush. You don't feel rushed.
Work. Thank you. So one of the things that came up when reflecting on the episode and on the conversation that's beginning so far with the Q&A portion is, well, one, I was definitely one of those people that was very skittish and shying away out of discomfort when approached with real hard truths about the world. And so I understand how hard it is and how much resistance there is to even hearing anything about it. And if it wasn't my husband bringing it to me again and again and again, I probably still would have been low-key stuck, So I'm curious about part of me, the big question in my mind is how to reach the collective in a way that those skittish people are spoken to, and so that they, because the soul's approach is not for everybody.
Right.
The hard hitter approach, you feel me? But everyone needs some sort, like the level of care that's required of getting the truth out, how to do that in a way that speaks to those people that were like me,
Yeah.
But that's a big question in the back of my mind.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Me personally, I'm a big believer in the planting of seeds. Even if I don't really care how they, respond, if they're just totally like, oh, that's crazy, da, da, da. I'll continue to plant seeds here and there whenever I get a chance with that person. If they're a person that's not as resistant, I'll go a little deeper. I even keep resources at home and things like that where I can, send people information or give them a book or things like that to, help them kind of see that it's not a conspiracy if it's based on truth and reality. So giving them, hard data and hard facts can help as well, because, what can they really say to that? But then also just kind of challenging them to just look at the fruit our society is bearing. Have them explain to you, then why is it like this? If these institutions are so great, if our healthcare system is so great, if our schools are so great, can you explain to me why society is like this? Because I'm telling you why I think it's like this based on all the hundreds of hours of that time that I've spent researching it. Why do you think it's like this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But those seeds, a lot of times people feel like, it's a waste of time, but it's not. I have helped change people's mind planting seeds one at a time. Every chance I get, plant another seed, because eventually something will usually happen in their life that will challenge the narrative to a degree where they have to be like, wait a minute, something is not right here. And it may be something, unfortunately, very sad or devastating that has to happen to them. But those seeds are there now. And now they're in fertile ground.
Yeah.
Because now they see something is wrong, actually. So that's I don't know if anybody else has suggestions or things that they do to help people that are very resistant kind of maybe come along a little bit more. But that's kind of my methods.
Yeah. I think that that's really, really helpful. And I feel like one of the words that keeps coming up into my awareness in my mind is story. So telling stories, because sometimes the hard facts, like eyes glaze over and the
you're
wall
right.
goes straight up, and I notice it even just sharing what I do in holistic health. So it's like, okay, let me get back to stories, let me get back to analogies, let me get back to, let's paint the picture. What, maybe that
Right.
as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great approach as well. Storytelling is one of the most non-confrontational, kind of easiest ways to get something across to somebody is through story, I think. But then we also we have to also just accept that some people they are happy in the control system. They are happy in their servitude. And part of free will is they have the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
We can't force them to awaken, because now we're infringing upon their rights. But what we can say is, that's fine, but y'all do that over there, because we don't want to do that.
Not up in here.
So just like we can't force being awake on you, you can't force slavery on me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thank you all so much for joining me tonight for this natural law presentation. Please visit the website, affirmlifedaily.com. And I'm wishing you all infinite love, light, and gratitude. Have a blessed evening.